But wait, I'm just wondering, which side is more willing to endure hardship for the glory of their nation? The one that's been around for thousands of years, or the one that's sending Katy Perry to space?
That is Bowen Yang as China's trade minister on last night's new episode of Saturday Night Live. John Hamm hosted the show with musical guest Lizzo. Exactly 4 years ago last night, Bowen Yang slid onto the set of Weekend Update as an unusual anthropomorphic character, the iceberg that sank the Titanic. The hilarious 4 minutes that followed, with Yang's iceberg indignant about his role in the tragedy and attempting to move the conversation to his new album, went viral overnight, officially making Yang a star. Landing that job on SNL was a dream come true for the groundbreaking comedian and actor who lived out another dream when he was cast alongside Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo in last year's Wicked movie, which grossed $750 million at the box office. Bowen and I got together in New York the other day for a Sunday Sitdown, and we stopped by the Gershwin Theater where that wicked dream began during a childhood vacation.
I mean, for old time's sake, should we just touch it? I think we should just touch the glass.
The same day that I went to the Gershwin when I was 14 years old, we couldn't get tickets to the show. All I wanted to do was just to feel like a tactility, a contact with this musical that I loved. And then we went down the street to 30 Rock to take the studio tour. And we sat in the bleachers at SNL.
That's wild, by the way.
Wild.
Wicked and SNL on the same day.
20 years after that first trip to New York, Bowen Yang has come full circle.
This kitty's got claws.
Both as a beloved cast member on Saturday Night Live.
He's so good. Such great charisma.
And as Galinda's snarky sidekick, Fanny, in the blockbuster Wicked movies.
Galinda? What's the reason?
Ozzy in history would have been very different had he not done
That's
that.
right.
So Fanny is an important part of the canon.
Without you, it doesn't happen. There's no movie, no franchise.
Exactly.
Dear Galinda, you are just too good.
What was it like to be at the middle of this Wicked phenomenon?
I cannot believe that it culminated in me wearing my costume at the Oscars.
Guys? I thought we were all doing this?
I got to have this, like, beginning, middle, and end. And it's not even over. There's another movie coming out.
For the 34-year-old Yang, the road to Oz began in Australia, where he was born the son of Chinese immigrants. The family moved to Montreal before settling outside of Denver when Yang was 9.
Your father lived in mud and straw huts in Inner Mongolia. This is one generation ago. I'm thinking about the cultural clash that was going on in your house, which is a very traditional Chinese family at home. Mm-hmm. And then you're out in the suburbs of America, right? Absorbing pop culture.
Right.
You didn't even have cable. You were just watching these syndicated shows, right, on network TV?
Kids, there were things called bunny ears, antenna on TV sets. It was a very manual experience for me to get my culture, you know? It was where I started to love comedy, because you would get this syndication block of like The Simpsons, Seinfeld, and then you'd watch SNL. It was pop culture boot camp.
In high school, Yang began to explore comedy in an after-school improv troupe. At the same time, he was beginning to understand his own sexuality. His parents initially did not.
How did you work through that as a teenager?
I didn't really get to work through it. I came out, quote unquote, in the sense that my parents just sort of stumbled upon something. And they were like, oh, we didn't realize this is what we were dealing with. Where we come from, this doesn't happen. That was sort of their concept of it. And so I give them a lot of grace for that because they just had no context for it. And so we went to conversion therapy, and part of the ultimatum was, if you go to therapy, then you can go to school at NYU where your sister is. Those poor people did not realize that it's one of the gayest schools in the country.
Yang endured those therapy sessions and then made his way to NYU, graduating with a degree in chemistry. But by then, he had fallen in love with comedy.
Live from New York! Live from New York! Live from New York!
In 2018, he was hired as a writer at Saturday Night Live. Just 1 year later, he made the leap to performing on the famed Studio 8H stage.
Was that Lauren saying, I think you're ready now?
I think that was his vetting process for me, because he ended up telling me when he gave me the call that I was moving to cast, he said, I know that people will look at you in a very specific way because of who you are, and I needed to make sure that you knew how things worked here so that I could set you up for success.
Yang quickly became a fan favorite, known for his eccentric guest appearances on the Weekend Update desk, with characters like a Chinese trade minister.
And turns out I'm 100% that trade daddy.
The viral baby hippo sensation, Mudang.
Host!
And most famously, the iceberg that sank the Titanic.
Oh, you came to where I live and you hit me?
I have to ask you about the iceberg. That felt like the breakthrough moment.
While the show was still on air, I check my phone and Will Ferrell emails me and he goes, that was amazing. You need to do that every week. This was very, very, very cherished for me.
In his downtime from SNL, Yang took parts in movies and on TV.
Hey, now I have to go to a pride party and you're both too old to be in the pool. Please leave.
His latest role is as a commitment phobe named Chris in the new movie The Wedding Banquet, a reimagining of the 1993 Ang Lee film of the same name.
We gotta de-queer the house. God, you have so much lesbian literature.
And there's some really powerful, difficult scenes. Do you enjoy stepping into that realm of acting?
It is sort of the flipped version of what most people in showbiz say, which is they say, oh, comedy is the hardest thing. I'm just used to cracking the code on how to make something funny, that something big and dramatic and emotionally suffused like this is a little bit of a delayed learning experience for me, and I really like doing it.
I'm not gonna marry you so you can get a green card.
Did you have any relationship with the 1993 movie where it spoke to you in some way?
Absolutely. And this was when I was still in the closet with my parents. Having it be about this acceptance narrative for this main character who is not brave enough to come out to his traditional Chinese parents was extremely resonant for me. Now my parents and I are very just steady and loving and generous with that part of my life.
I feel like you've had a series of pinch me moments, whether it's even getting to New York,
Yep.
but going to NYU,
Yep.
getting on SNL, the show you loved growing up, and then ultimately here.
No.
I don't get too wrapped up in my own mythology or anything or my lore, but being here with you is, I think it gives it the right occasion to reflect on it and think, wow, that's pretty amazing. Thank you for bringing me here.
Let's touch it
Let's touch it again.
Bowen's new movie, The Wedding Banquet, is in theaters this Friday, April 18th, and the second Wicked movie, called Wicked for Good, is out in November. Our thanks to Rosevale Kitchen in New York for hosting our conversation. Don't forget to subscribe to the Sunday Sitdown podcast to hear the full extended interview with Bowen Yang, including much more on the nerve-wracking experience of auditioning several times for SNL. You can find our conversation wherever you get your podcasts, or just scan the QR code right there on your screen.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.